everybody, this is John from Talkabout Adventures, bringing you another little walk around of a vehicle, and it's not a very new vehicle. It's a old Ford Willys Jeep. These Ford Willys were made for the war, First World War. Or the Second World War. The Willys started out making them and couldn't keep up the demand, so they got Ford to come in and help to produce them, and that's how the Ford Jeep come about. Now most of the parts were the same, except Ford made some and Willys made the others. There's a few ways to tell the difference between a Ford Jeep and a Willys Jeep, which I'll show you a few in a minute. But the trouble with restoring Jeeps and that, people, well, even in the army when they were mechanicking them, they used to swap parts, and then after the war, people restoration were swapping parts. So to actually get a original Willys Jeep or a Ford Jeep is next to none. They've swapped and changed a few things, or even remade or produced new ones. Like this bumper bar, for instance. It being a Ford, it should have holes here on both sides, but I'd say the old one was bent, so they've made a new one and put it on, and that's one thing. The grills in the Willys Jeeps, the first ones, they come out with steel bars welded in them. Where Ford took over, they said, no, we're not welders, we're stampers, so they just pressed grills out of metal and put them on the Jeeps, and then Willys ended up taking them on too after about 43 or so. The Ford Jeep here has got a Ford mark there on the cross member, and the Willys one is sort of not flat like this. It's a sort of more of a rounded one. That's one way of telling. And yeah, another way of telling is the toolboxes. These rear toolboxes, Willys, were flat lids, and here where you open them, this little imprint was round on the Willys, where on Fords they had that rippled lid and a rectangular imprint there. But later on in 44 they all come with a wrinkled lid and a round thing. So yeah, and another way of telling is, of course, the plates here on the glove box. It'll have Ford written there, or Willys, but most of the times these are all reproductions. Like normally an original one, you wouldn't be able to read it at all. It'll be all worn and had it. They come with a gun holder up there. They come with a 3-speed gearbox with a high and low range, and 4-wheel drive, and then a high and low range. So you could just put it into 4-wheel drive and go, or you can put it in low range or high range, whichever one you went, or vice versa. Well, there's the pattern there anyway, the gears. Yeah, these things here are the windscreen wipers, hand operated. They're little beauties. They come out with a, I'm not sure, but I think a 66 horsepower engine. which has a flat head. The first, in 41, the first Jeeps, I think, well, don't quote me on all this either, I'm not a Jeep expert, I'm only sort of trying to think of what I know. But I think the first engines in the Jeeps were out of a tractor, and they had to crank start them. But then of course they started making their own. And as you can see in here, it's just a nice little engine. And they come with a oil can there. That's your big horn. And up here is your workshop manual. So it gives you all your details there. And it comes with a grease gun under the bonnet there. And these headlights, you can undo them like so, and you can lift them up and turn them around. So if you're broken down overnight, you can use the headlight to work on the motor. Yeah, so the original Fords even had Ford written on the tyres, Ford Jeeps, and a lot of the nuts and bolts had the little F symbol on them for Ford. You can flat out find one probably. The tow hitch has got a F symbol there for the Ford. The earlier ones had pressed metal up here, had Ford on them, or Willys, and then after the I think it was 43, they stopped it. They didn't want them to advertise which make it was for some reason. But yeah, that's sort of roughly about all I know about the if you look here, you can just see the Ford letter on them bolts there to indicate that it is a Ford. In here you had a fire extinguisher they come with, and to start them you had to turn your key, put your choke on. They also had a hand throttle, because if you had the clutch in, you couldn't use the foot throttle, because you had to put your foot, the heel of your foot, on this, and that there is your starter button. So if you need a bit of throttle, you use that. Yeah, but this one has been restored, of course, and a lot of things have been changed on it. And yeah, like I say, getting original Willys or a Ford Jeep is next to being impossible, because they've swapped a lot of changed a lot of things. But yeah, anyway, there you have it. A quick walk around, a quick sort of thoughts on what I know about the Jeep. So I hope you like this little short episode, and I'll catch us all again on Talkabout Adventures.